What's up YouTube, Sir Hunt's Reviews, and this is going to be a character profile on Sandor Clegane. Oh Lord Jesus, it's a fire. Ain't nobody got time for that, I got bronchitis. Alright, so basically, Sandor Clegane's early life consisted of not too much. It was kind of overshadowed by his older brother, Gregor, you know, the mountain, how good he was at fighting and shit like that. There was rumors that the Clegane brothers had a younger sister. She died mysteriously, and then right after King Robert Baratheon took the throne after his rebellion, Sandor's father died mysteriously in a hunting accident. The same way, well, his sister didn't die in the hunting accident, but she died mysteriously, and he left to join House Lannister as soon as Gregor got his inheritance. Alright, so you flash forward to the events of A Game of Thrones. He is Joffrey's bitch boy, basically. He is his bodyguard. Joffrey ends up having him kill Arya's friend Micah, you know, the butcher's son, the guy, the little kid in that. It actually happened like the second episode. Basically, when Joffrey, Sansa, and Arya are fighting in the woods, Sansa's direwolf bites Joffrey, and then, you know, they have that little scene right there, and then afterwards Joffrey pleads with his father, so Joffrey ends up telling the Hound, or dog, to kill Micah, which is Arya's friend, and that is initially where Arya started hating the Hound. The reason why I spent a little bit of extra time on this subject is because that's where you first get Arya enemizing the Hound. Yeah, I make up words all the time on my shit, bro. Then you have the first night of the Hands Tourney. Basically, Sansa, the Hound ends up getting enamored with Sansa, and Sansa can't look him in the eye, so then the Hound mocks Sansa, calling her little bird who barks on command, or who chirps on command. Then you have the whole shit that happened where Gregor, the Hound's brother, ends up getting pissed off at Loras, so Gregor ends up like beating Loras. He's almost about to kill him, and then the Hound runs over, saves his life. King Robert yells at them to stop. Of course, the Hound stops immediately, you know what I mean, and bows down, and Gregor kept fighting, but he didn't bow. He stopped, but he didn't bow. Alright, so side note, the Hound does end up participating in the slaughter of the remaining House Stark guards, when Eddard is trying to take Cersei to court, basically for her illegitimate children. But on a lighter note, he does end up helping Sansa later on in the castle when Barristan Selmy is released from the Kingsguard, and the Hound ends up taking his place. All the other Kingsguard are pretty much taught to like taunt Sansa and beat her and shit like that. The Hound actually does the opposite of that. He's actually pretty kind to her, and he spares her from Joffrey's sadism. Okay, so you flash forward to A Clash of Kings. The Hound, during the riots at King's Landing, Sansa nearly gets snatched from her horse, but the Hound ends up saving her. He fights like furiously and fucking insane, so all the people that would have potentially raped and murdered Sansa get driven away. Then you have the Battle of Blackwater, which the Hound does a really good job in, and then of course Tyrion says keep pushing. The Hound refuses that because there's fire everywhere. Oh Lord Jesus, it's a fire. We all know the Hound don't like the fire, so then he goes back and waits for Sansa. Fire. But yeah, so then the Hound ends up going back to Sansa's bedchambers, waits for her. He's like, look, you can come with me, I'm finna leave. She's like, nah, I ain't having none of that, player. And then he's like, alright, sing me a song, I'm gonna stab you with this knife. He ends up holding a knife to her and elicits her to basically sing him the song. And then after the song is done, Sansa thinks he kissed her, and then he leaves, and she keeps the Kingsguard, the bloody Kingsguard cloak he left behind. Alright, so then you have, this is a little bit more show stuff. Then you flash forward to A Storm of Swords. The Hound, while being a vagabond, he ends up, like after he ran from House Lannister after the Battle of Blackwater, he ends up getting caught by some kind of fucking brotherhood, and he ends up being tried for all of the atrocities he committed, basically the murdering of the butcher's boy and all the other sick shit he did back in King's Landing. He notices that this brotherhood has Arya Stark with him. So then, blah blah blah. He ends up having a fight with Lord Beric Dondarrion. He cuts the dude in half on the show. In the book, very similar description. Even though Lord Beric Dondarrion is fighting with a flaming sword, and you know the Hound has a hangover in the books, and he's also afraid of fire. So he's afraid of fire in the show and the books. Fire! Oh Lord Jesus, it's a fire! Ain't nobody got time for that. I got bronchitis. Alright, so after his fight with Beric Dondarrion and cutting dude in half, they strip him of all his shit and tell him to get the fuck on. Well, he ends up coming back and saying, yo, I ain't having none of that. I want my gold back at least. So he tries taking his shit by force. During the midst of all that fighting, he sees Arya trying to escape. Light bulb goes off in his head. He's like, hey, I could take her back and ransom her to her brother, Robb Stark. So he kidnaps her. They end up riding to the Red Wedding at the Forks, and they arrive right before the massacre ends. The Hound does end up being able to take out a Frey and another dude right before he incapacitates Arya. Alright, so then the Hound is like, alright, let's keep it moving. He takes Arya to River Run. It is under siege by the Lannisters, and the Eyrie is inaccessible because Lady Arryn isn't seeing anybody. So he decides they're just going to rough it. They end up going from village to village till finally, like every night, Arya, you know, she does her death list thing, and she says his name every night. So they end up going to this inn where they see Polliver. Then you have the famous, oh, the fucking chickens. You have that scene. And in the books, it goes down a little bit differently. We know how it goes down in the show. I'm just going to explain it to you how it goes down in the books. Alright, so basically, they have a fight. And because the Hound is inebriated and extremely hungry, he ends up sustaining a shit ton of injuries. Of course, Arya and the Hound are successful during the fight in killing Polliver, but like I said, the Hound's wounds are pretty fucking up there. So they end up quickly becoming infected. They're sitting under a tree. He's like, Arya, please give me the gift of mercy. Arya's like, no, fuck you. I'm not going to kill you. You're going to sit here and suffer. Still hating the Hound that whole time. She dips, and then that's the last we see of him. Of course, you have those people like me who are like, yeah, he's the gravedigger. And I would talk about that, but that's for another video. I'll probably do that one tomorrow morning or at some point during the day. But yeah, I want to thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already done it, make sure you click like, subscribe. This has been Sir Hunt Reviews, and if you're new to my channel, I want to thank you guys. And if you've already been a subscriber, I want to thank you as well. This channel is growing like awesome. You guys are the shit. People comment on all my videos. They let me know what they think, and I always try to take that in from you guys. I know I'm like sucking up and shit like that, but no, it's good for you guys to hear this every once in a while, right? Let's shoot for 3 likes this video. Once again, click like, subscribe if you haven't already done it. This has been Sir Hunt's Reviews. Oh Lord Jesus, it's a fire. Ain't nobody got time for that. I got bronchitis.